Hi, everyone.
Welcome to Talk the Rock,
My name is Kristen,
and I'm Ray.
and today we're going to be talking about my trip out to the East Coast. So, typically, I don't really like when people kind of brag about their trip. They're like, oh, I went to this place and blah, blah, blah. Um, but I felt like I should talk about it. Uh, Pertaining to not the trip itself, but the rocks. So I went to New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, and PEI. And there is a lot of crystals out there, and a lot of unknown crystals out there. So we're going to kind of talk about it. Are
Great.
you are you ready to hear about it, Lorelai?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So at first I was in New Brunswick. So New Brunswick at the Bay of Fundy, just off of the just on the beach, okay? There is it's not like sandy beaches. These are rocky beaches, which are my favorite. If you know me, you know that I love Lake Superior. Um I still stand by that. I still think that that is one of my favorite places is being around Agoa Bay, Lake Superior, and all of that. Um, but new like the East Coast hits different. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So um in New everywhere you go, like there are sandy beaches in like PI and you can find it in Nova Scotia. But for the most part, like there's a lot of rocky beaches and I love it. So on the coast, there are a lot of different crystals you can find. Ray, do you know about what crystals are there that you can find? Let's
I'm
start with
not
New
sure.
Brunswick. No? So in the
No.
Bay of Fundy, which is in New Brunswick, you can find a lot of jaspers, agates, rhyolite, unakite. You can find oh darn, there's so many. Those are the first ones off the top of my head. Uh, I found when I was there, I actually found African blood jasper, which I was pretty like surprised by. I didn't think you could find it here, but I did. I found a lot of unakite, a lot of jasper, not so much agate. I was told there's a lot of agate, but I didn't see as much agate as I did jasper. Maybe people are confusing them because, as we discussed in that agate episode, and the jasper one, like jasper is hard, like it's harder to see through. It doesn't have that like quartzy feel, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because Jasper's opaque and that's is solid, right? And then the agates are more translucent to opaque. Like I think people probably got it confused because it's pretty easy to be confused when you don't know the differences, right?
Yeah, it's true. I did find maybe one or two pieces that had agate inclusions and quartz.
Mhm.
um I heard that you can also find a lot of amethyst there, but I did not see a single piece of it, not even like included in anything. You can also find gypsum and satin spar, but I didn't see that. And you can find zeolite and chabsite there. And apparently there's a lot of like lava stones, which I probably saw and ignored. But there was like just a lot just on the beach. And it's interesting, like they don't do any mining out there. So that's something I'm going to touch a bit more on when I talk about Nova Scotia. So yeah, I found jasper that was similar to like mookaite, which I thought was very cool. Like it had the similar colors. I have to tumble all of this because it looks really weird right now. Like when it was wet, you could definitely see like the different minerals and crystals, but it needs to be tumbled for sure.
We have a lot that needs to be tumbled.
I know Dad needs to get his rock tumbler out from the basement. So I found a lot of those in the Bay of Fundy. I didn't find anything cool, like rare or anything. I might have, and I just don't realize it. So that closes that chapter. Then when I was in Nova Scotia, I spent a lot of time around Cape Breton, the Highlands in Nova Scotia, which were absolutely amazing. There's a lot under those mountains. And so I was talking to a local man. He owns or is partial owner. I think he was the owner of the trailer campground we were at. I actually don't know if but he was there. He worked there. He owned it. I don't remember. I didn't ask. He has lived out there his whole life. He left, came back, told us like his whole story. He said that in the mountains there is a lot of gold, but not only gold, there's also a lot of crystals. He didn't really get into specifics of crystals. I don't think he's a crystal man.
Probably not.
No, but he did say that back in the day they were allowed to mine. So we drove past it and I was like, what is that? And this was before we talked to this guy. There's a trail called the Gypsum Mine Trail. So on this trail, you go up a mountain and there is a lake in the mountain. And that lake was actually man-made. It used to be a mine that they were digging out the ground to mine gypsum. And they stopped mining there because the government is worried about the fact that if people start mining and digging up the mountains, there will be no more tourism in Nova Scotia because the big pull there is the mountains, and they need that, like people coming in, they need the tourism. So part of why I wanted to do this episode is just to let people know that these places, for whatever reason, like I've seen people I know go out there, but I guess they're like really need people to visit. And I for sure recommend it. I was surprised actually with how little amount of people were there. And this was like the week before back to school. So anyway, this gypsum mine trail, I did it. We talked to that guy and he said that it filled with water over time and has become a lake. I saw tiny fish in there, but I don't see, they probably would have like been added, or I don't know how that works, but over time it became a lake. And what's super cool, and I wish that I had the photo on my laptop right now, I don't. So we walked up the trail, and along the way you could see all kinds of little tiny shards of the gypsum, like that. Maybe you'll know, it's like that clear gypsum that kind of looks like ice. Is it Icelandic spar or something? Like it looks almost like glass, like you can see through it, but you can tell that it's like a gem and it breaks very easily.
Wouldn't that just be the regular selenite is what they call it?
Could be. It didn't look like that white selenite that we have though, unless it's
Sorry, Lily just bit my finger. Trying to play with my microphone.
Oh no. It's your kitten.
Yeah.
Your little baby.
Anyway.
Anyway, So up there, there was all kinds of that, and we had fun like picking pieces and filling my pocket with tiny pieces. It wasn't full, it was tiny. But there we made sure to leave lots for people. Like we're not gonna out here like steal in. It was just for our personal collection. Like I took a
Mhm.
couple pieces for me and a couple pieces for Ray, and I might give
Thank
away a
you.
couple pieces. Um, and so we went up there, and I put my feet in the lake. I didn't like go swimming. A lot of people swim there because the water's warmer than the ocean, obviously. Um, but I didn't. And immediately when we got there, I saw this like white slab with like some grayish brown lines in it. In my head, I was like, that's howlite. That has to be it. This is not gypsum. Like, I didn't see any gypsum when we got up there. It was like, that is howlite. And there was some like pieces of it kind of like, because it wasn't like dug out obviously to be a swimming hole, but like people were going in, so like peeking out of the walls of the mud, there was like white chunks, and I like took a couple pieces off and I was feeling it. I'm like, this feels like chalky. This is howlite. And I was like so proud of myself. I'm like, I identified, this is howlite. This is real howlite that I like people there are probably like, oh, it's gypsum. Like, no, that was howlite. Nova Scotia howlite. So I was really excited. And in the water, there was like a big slab of it that there was like these kids sitting on, and they were looking at the fish, and I was like, oh my god, like they're sitting on a pure slab of howlite, and it was a massive chunk. It was so cool. And when the kids left, I took a picture of it.
Hmm.
So I did, out of the wall, I did take a couple pieces that came loose because I was like, people are gonna hurt their feet on it anyway. So I took a couple pieces of the howlite, and I was so excited. I don't even know why I'm so excited about it. But that's a crystal I won't be tumbling because it does fall apart pretty easily. And I was kind of surprised by that because I had like this pure slab, like chunk that I was looking at, and I was able to just take it apart so easily. So I have a few pieces of it. So if you go out to Cape Breton in Nova Scotia and you do the gypsum mine trail, be aware there is howlite there, which is super cool. I'm not telling everyone to go like rock hounding and destroy the place. Just go enjoy it and see it, and maybe take a couple little pieces for yourself because there's lots of it. Like the howlite and the gypsum, it's all over the place. And I just thought it was so cool. Like people are swimming and sitting on this howlite slab, like goals. I'm not even a big howlite fan. I just thought it was cool. But I would say though, the water, because it was a previous gypsum mine and there was gypsum everywhere, try not to drink it because over time gypsum does dissolve in water. So I imagine you're drinking straight up gypsum water. Howlite ending in the ite, which we haven't covered yet. A lot of the ones in the ite family, they do dissolve in water. Lorelai, do you know about howlite, if it does dissolve like the way that one would be? Like, is it slowly dissolving what I saw in the water?
Um, I'm not sure, but I don't think it does because it's so solid, right? Like,
It feels like chalk.
I don't.
I've never
Yeah.
felt like raw howlite before until I touched that one, and I was like, wow, this is chalky, and that's what I've heard it feels like.
So I looked it up, and apparently howlite was actually first discovered in Nova Scotia.
It was, yeah. Maybe in this exact spot. Could you imagine?
I'm not sure. Where was that located?
In the Cape Breton Cabot Trail. at the gypsum mine. Do you know if you'd be able to see?
I'm looking it up.
While you look it up, that man that we were talking to, he was also saying that a lot of the rivers there, he like over you can't really find it anymore, but there used to be like little chunks of gold in the water, kind of like the back in like the Yukon, people were gold mining and stuff. They have gold there. But the government is like, heck no, like you're not allowed to mine here. And I probably shouldn't be talking about it on this podcast. I don't even know. I'm not saying to go out there and dig, like please don't do that because you will get in trouble. Big disclaimer, like I'm not telling you to go mining. I'm just like saying that there's a lot there that we'll never know. There could be new crystals we've never heard of underneath those mountains, and it just boggles my mind. Like this world is massive and there's so much out there.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I
Did you
have a little
find
tidbit to read for you.
okay?
Um, I thought it was funny. So in 1868, the miners discovered yet another unusual mineral. It formed white nodules that interfered with the quality of the gypsum, so they regarded it as a nuisance and discarded it.
But that was the howlite.
Yes.
That was probably what I like where I was.
So howlite has been since found throughout the deposits that were formed by the Windsor Sea and has been reported um from Cape Breton, Dingwall, and Iona, Finland, and New Brunswick.
Newfoundland and New Brunswick. So cool.
Mhm.
Another thing I was hoping to find in Nova Scotia some labradorite that might have like made its way there, and I didn't. I was kind of disappointed. On the beaches there, sorry, I had the hiccup. On the beaches in Nova Scotia, I found lots of the same kind of things like jaspers, except I did have a lot more pieces that had like cool inclusions. Like some of them have like a silvery inclusion. Some of them have what could be pyrite, is what I thought. But this guy was like, oh, gold is out here. So now I have it in my head that I found gold. Could be, I don't know. I'd have to test it.
You probably just found fool's gold.
Fool's gold. Maybe that's what he found. I don't know. So I found that, and I found a lot more rhyolite there. Not as much of the other things like unakite and stuff like that. Um, what else? I found some agate. Um, quartz. I didn't find amethyst, although it told me I would. I didn't find chabsite or any of that fancy stuff. People are like, when you go to Nova Scotia, you should look out for these. I did, and I didn't find any. But I did find some really cool, like different inclusions and tumbles and like oh yeah, I found at the Bay of Fundy a lot of red jasper specifically. Like there was a lot of red jasper, like the blood red jasper there. So if you like it, there's a lot of it. And some of it had like that nice like white included, so it wasn't as just red. So it's more interesting to look at. Yeah, my computer just yelled at me because it's like, you have no more space on your computer. I'm like, well, it's too bad.
Oh. So, you had mentioned that you had found African bloodstone.
Yeah, I did.
But I believe you actually found heliotrope, also known,
Heliotrope.
I guess also known as bloodstone, but it's not the African bloodstone. But you can find it in Nova Scotia.
Oh, okay. Because yeah, it looks just like African blood jasper. So heliotrope. Okay.
Yeah.
What else? I'm trying to remember what else you can find in Nova Scotia. It says agate, zeolite, garnet, amethyst. Oh, I did find a nice rock that looks like it has like a bunch of tiny garnet in it, which I'm pretty excited to tumble. Because I want to see what it looks like, because it's just like spots of bright like red that look quartzy like garnet. So I'm like, oh, can't wait. It says you can find anatase rutile. I did find a couple pieces that look like it has rutile in it, and one that looks like rutilated like tourmaline, like the white with the black. I found a piece that looks like that. Sphalerite, I didn't see any drusies at all. Cassiterite and phosphates. What else can you find there?
And so when I looked it up, Mindat says Nova Scotia has extensive mining industries for coal, gypsum, iron, manganese, and gold. More recently, barite, celestite, cassiterite, lead, zinc, and halite mines were operated or continue to operate.
Huh?
Gypsum also continues to be mined, as does gold, periodically as market continue or conditions allow.
I was told by this guy that you're not allowed to mine there at all.
I'm not sure.
Maybe that's
Another
just in the Cabot Trail, maybe other places in Nova Scotia, because it is like it's actually bigger than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
Like I pictured in my head you could drive around it in an hour, and it's not the case. It takes a
Another
long time.
Yeah. Another source says there's cobalt, copper, gallium, germanium, graphite, indium, lithium, niobium, other rare earth elements, tantalum, tin, tungsten, and zinc.
Wow, I wonder like what I found, what all those are. So cool. Anyway, so that's Nova Scotia. PEI, I actually did not, I didn't find anything other than the sandstone.
Yeah, when I think of PEI, I don't think of mining or minerals.
No, I only found that red sandstone that's like everywhere. I didn't find anything. I found shells. That was the only place I found like seashells.
I'll have
I did learn that uh that sand can stain you, because my feet from the sand were like red and stained. Milo's paws were stained red.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, so there's actually a company out there that makes t-shirts stained by the sand, and it's
Oh,
called
I've
like
heard of stuff like that.
PEI dirt shirt, and there's a Nova Scotia dirt shirt because, and they have like other stuff like bags and whatever. I didn't buy any of those because
Oh man.
it feels weird. It feels like a dirty shirt, and they
Well, wouldn't you
call it
wash
a
it?
dirty shirt. I mean, wouldn't the color eventually come out? Like, how
I
does
don't
that?
know.
I don't know.
I'll look it up for PEI, but apparently stillbite is Nova Scotia's provincial mineral. I wonder what Ontario is.
I
Probably
thought
like
it
one
was
of those.
howlite. I didn't find any stilbite. I didn't find anything raw, like cool like that, other than the howlite in that gypsum place.
Hmm.
Yeah. So if you like rocks, I think that you should go out there and check it out. But don't loot the place and take like everything off of the ocean. There is a lot of rocks on the shores to share, but don't be greedy. Okay. There was a lot of rocks It was tempting to take the massive ones, but I didn't. I stuck
What?
to small pieces.
Apparently, there's no mines in PEI.
Would you look at that?
But you can find red sandstone and siltstone. So red sandstone is probably what's staining your feet.
Yeah. I did take a couple pieces of little red sandstone. A couple pieces I found that were more like raw, and then a couple pieces that the ocean had kind of naturally tumbled. It falls
Hmm.
apart very easily.
Apparently, um, mineral resources have not been discovered in commercial quantities. Although there are trace deposits of coal, uranium, vanadium, and other minerals in PEI.
Wow.
So that's probably why there's no like commercial mining because it's small.
Yeah. So at the like this guy that I was talking to was saying that a lot of people need to visit because that's what makes the money is when people go visit. Other than the fishing industry, they don't have a whole lot going on out there. Um and they're desperate for trades. That's one thing he told me. He said that some people are waiting a couple of years to get some simple things fixed in their house because they mainly need people that are good with working with wood, like framing and woodworking and stuff like that. This is not about crystals. I'm just like saying, if you have the ability to go out there, they really do. Like if you're a tradesperson, like they need tradespeople and they will pay you pretty good from what I'm told. So just saying, there's jobs out there and houses are super cheap. Um, yeah. So I think
So
people
go
should
ahead.
go out there and visit
Yeah.
at least. It was amazing.
So I found a geoscan research.
Okay.
Um, it's actually from the government of Canada, I believe. Yeah, it said that on their website. Um, the title is Rocks and Minerals for the Collector, Northeastern Nova Scotia, Cape Breton Island, and Prince Edward Island. So, I believe it says that oh, the research was done in 1994. Um, the area it covers is Halifax, Antigonish, Port Hastings, Sydney, Cabot Trail, Cape Breton Island, New Glasgow, Amherst, Alberton, Kensington, Charlottetown, and Dartmouth. Um, so the subjects it has is metallic minerals, industrial mines, minerals, or that's like what it covers. Um, so they have fossils, specularite, siderite, arsenopyrite, andalusite, hematite, barite, celestine, uh, agalmolite, dio diatomite, limestone, gypsum, fossil plants, so fossilized plants, that's pretty cool. Galena, sulfides, gold, tungsten, copper.
Oh, I forgot about
Um,
Galena. I heard Galena's out there and I might have found some.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I don't know for sure though. I need to like look at them better because these are like quick looks where I'm like, oh, I'm so excited. I got a rock. And then anyway, continue.
Oh. Attractive barite fluorite specimens are found in old mines near Lake Ainsley. Um, but yeah.
I saw a sign for that, but we didn't go over there.
Ah,
Yeah,
you should have.
maybe
Maybe next time.
there will be a next time.
Hopefully you can take me next time.
You would have liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that everyone should go. I haven't even talked about we haven't talked about crystals you can find in the States, because that's crazy.
There's a lot of crystals in the States.
We recently joined like a group of upstate New York, like rock hounders, and I saw that there was people finding Labradorite there. And I
Mm.
was like, what? That's awesome.
I
Sorry
see people.
if you can hear rustling. I'm opening an order from the internet for our new items. Anyway, what were you gonna say?
I've seen people say that they find a lot of what's it called? Garnet in the States,
Yeah.
in New York.
Oh, you turned your camera on.
How do I flip the camera? There we go.
Uh, she's not attacking anymore.
Nope. I don't know if you could hear it, but she was like playing with the cord and hitting my microphone.
No.
But
Aw.
she's sleepy now. Oh, something just disturbed her.
It's a rough life being a cat,
Yep.
especially her.
Oh my gosh, yeah. She's only been alive for almost 5 months and she's already been through so much.
Yep.
She's a crazy girl and now she's biting my hand.
Aw. I like that if a dog bites your hand, you're like, stop it. But if a cat does it, you're like, oh, you're so cute.
Sometimes it hurts, so I scream. Like last night, early this morning.
That's funny.
Because cats don't really understand when you tell them no.
No, it's true.
Whereas dogs are like,
Oh
okay,
no.
yeah.
Oh no, my world is ending.
Like Milo understands if you tell him no.
Yeah. He doesn't understand get out though, and the cats do.
Yeah.
If he comes in my room, I'm like, get out. He's like, what did you mean? What is that? Whereas the cat's like, all right, I'm leaving. Guess it's
Yeah.
bedtime.
Yeah.
So yeah. A lot of the places in PEI are not dog friendly.
Well, that's rude.
I know. It's because a lot of the island is provincial park, and a lot of provincial parks, the dogs are not allowed. There's specific beaches for dogs, right? Like
Hmm.
every provincial park you go to, most of them have like no dogs allowed or specific dog like beaches. And so yeah, most of the island is national parks. Sorry, that was loud.
What's like the population in PI?
I don't know. It's more than I thought because there are a lot of farms, but
My friend Anne, after we graduated culinary school, she went there for like a year and I didn't really hear from her.
there's not a whole lot going on out there.
I
So
wonder what she was doing.
in PEI,
Yeah,
probably not a whole lot.
I wonder if she was cooking there.
Maybe in the city.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I think we're running out of time, so I guess we'll end this episode.
All right.
And our next episode will be about Ocean Jasper. That'll be episode 12.
Yeah, I still gotta finish doing more research. I think I have the first half, but there's a lot, a lot, a lot.
Okay, so you want to do part 1?
Yes, because I'll be covering the veins, and so far there's 8 veins, and then there's also a new veinless Ocean Jasper.
Well, don't give it all away.
Of course I won't, but there's a lot to talk about.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for listening. I hope that you enjoyed this episode. Please make sure to subscribe, and wherever you're listening, make sure to follow, like, hit the reminder button or the bell if you're on YouTube. We didn't really show too many pictures on here, but if you go on our Instagram, Lunari Home, I did share a couple Instagram reels of my time there picking up rocks if you would like to see. And yeah, make sure to follow us at Lunari Home or at Talk the Rock on Instagram and Facebook. And make sure to follow at Crystallized Ray if you would like to talk to Ray directly, because she does know a lot more about crystals than I do. So make sure,
I'm the researcher.
yes, so don't forget to subscribe and keep listening, because we have a lot more in store for you and we can't wait to share with you. Thank you for listening. Please stay safe, and I hope you have a wonderful day.
Bye.
Bye. Where's the end button?